At a young age, we are carefree. We dive into experiences and move on to the next without a second thought. But through this, we're able to explore and expand our creative and malleable minds. And fast forward into adulthood, we're surrounded by a world that glorifies perfection and excellence. The concept of good enough or imperfect might sound counterintuitive. But what really is good enough, and what is perfection? Perfectionism is when the last 5% of a project feels like 95% of the work. Whether you're baking, writing an email, making a YouTube video, writing a novel, or creating music, it's when you feel like you're close to the finish line, but you don't allow yourself to cross it. It's when you obsess over every last detail, every last brushstroke, every final note. It's the belief that what you have doesn't fit the vision that you had initially seen, so you need to work tirelessly to get there. It's the inability to let your expectations go. If your painting, your cake, your project was a status bar, then that status bar is really a gradation of your expectations. In the beginning, you don't have any expectations because nothing has been created quite yet. There is an intent, but nothing has quite hit the blank canvas. There are no strokes or letters. When you have a fresh start, it's easy to try any of your ideas. You can build on these without hesitation or doubt, and mainly without expectation. However, as your ideas begin to compound, as they begin to stick on top of each other, you create a theme, a direction. You begin creating a story, and something ever so slightly resembling a completed vision. Cakes become taller, and narrative arcs begin forming. Dots begin connecting, and there's an expectation for them to continue connecting. Music begins to flow and stories begin. It's exciting to see work slowly building. Although there's a vision, you're still not quite sure of what the end result will be, but you start developing an expectation. And as you venture towards the last section, you have something concrete, something nearing completion that you've invested a lot of time into. Naturally, your expectations are still quite high, but it's the last 5% where your perfectionism can run wild. For perfectionists, the last 5% is the bane of their existence. The tail end is where we realize that there's a gap in our expectations and our reality. It's when people set themselves against impossible expectations. But where does perfectionism come from? It could be from a fear of failure. It could be a fear of disapproval. Regardless, perfectionism is the result of unattainable expectations. Our hands cannot recreate the blueprints of our imagination, no matter how hard or how much time is given. Perfectionists will try to ignore this reality and will always result in chasing a vision that is unachievable, a chase that never ends. Creativity is all about accepting that we ourselves are always a work in progress, and that like ourselves, there is no definitive beginning and end. The illusion of 100% completion prevents creativity while stifling our growth. We need to look at completion more through the lens in which we can let our work go. When it's good enough, when any extra effort yields diminishing returns. To clarify, good enough doesn't equate to subpar work. It isn't about mere completion for the sake of it, nor is it about presenting work you acknowledge requires more thought and effort. Good enough signifies reaching about 95% completion and recognizing it's acceptable to let go. It's acknowledging that 100% is a mental construct, not an attainable reality. Pursuing absolute perfection detracts from other pursuits. The tipping point of good enough arrives when further refinement serves your ego more than your audience. And to be clear, perfection exists in other aspects of life. An A+ grade on a test, getting 12 strikes in bowling, or a score that is truly equal in length on all four sides. And there are many aspects where perfection must be absolute. Construction should be perfect. Medical procedures should be perfect. And even abstract concepts can be perfect based on perspective, a perfect day, or a perfect person. But as a creator, you will feel like your work is never complete. In retrospect, you'll find that there is always something that can be improved upon, but you can only get it to a point where it feels right to let go. Letting go of perfection will allow you to move on to start something else. We can't be perfect. It's a concept far from reality, a concept impossible for humans. However, we can substitute perfection for consistency. Good enough will allow us to continue forward and try yet again. By valuing progress and effort, we can open ourselves up for a more balanced life. Imperfections and limitations make us human, and letting go of perfection will allow you to move forward in life. So embrace the power of good enough and find beauty in a lack of perfection. Hey there, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more thought-provoking videos like it. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.